Jacksonville Jaguars fans, welcome into Duval Daily presented by GenJag.com. Thanks so much for being here on Sunday, April 27th. The NFL draft is in the books. The Jaguars have been hot on the trail, signing undrafted free agents. We're going to talk about undrafted free agents. We're going to talk about takeaways from this draft, big picture, small picture, winners, losers, all these different types of things. But before we do that, I want to grade this draft objectively from my point of view. I guess it's subjectively, honestly, from my point of view, how I grade each pick, how I end up grading the entire draft, right? So that's what we are going to do here today. Also, I think I'd be remiss if you go through grading all these picks and don't mention the trade back on day 2 that allowed them to pick up 2 third-round picks for 2026. I think that was an A+. The Jaguars, I don't think in any way mortgaged their future with the Travis Hunter trade, but they did impact their future draft capital, and being able to get those 2 day 2 picks back and still get 2 players they really liked on day 2 of the draft this year, I thought was absolutely an A+. So we're going to get it kicked off. We're going to go 1 through 9. Jaguars had the second pick in the 2025 NFL draft. They wrapped it up with the 236th pick. We're going to go through all 9 of their draft picks here. And again, obviously kicked it off talking about that trade, which I think was so important and so well executed. And James Gladstone moved up and down the board seemingly at will in this draft. So kudos to him for being able to operate during his first real year as a general manager in that capacity. Really appreciate y'all tuning in, supporting the channel, watching all this draft coverage. If you enjoy the content, please remember to like and subscribe. So Travis Hunter, to me, and we've talked like a little bit more about Travis Hunter, but to me, you cannot forget that the Jacksonville Jaguars landed the number 1 prospect in this class, in my opinion, and from a consensus opinion. Travis Hunter is unbelievable. And you landed one person in Travis Hunter, right? But you really kind of got 2 players, because not only was he my wide receiver 1, he was also the CB1 in this class. Travis Hunter is going to make a massive impact on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And for me, the player is an A+. The player, including the trade, you get an A. Because, obviously you gave up a good bit to go get Travis Hunter. But still, being able to land him, that is an A. And I also, when I grade a full draft class, the first round gets 25% bump in terms of like the value of that. So like the first round is worth 1.25. So if you get an A in round 1, that helps you out a lot. If you get a C in round 1, that kind of hurts your draft grade. Just kind of taking y'all behind the curtain there. So Travis Hunter was an absolute home run for the Jaguars. I don't think anybody would argue in any other direction. Getting the number 1 player in the draft, getting a player that can play on both sides of the ball, can transcend the sport, it's huge. It was the type of swing that to me, a well-run franchise that has a clear vision makes. And I think that's what's happening here in Jacksonville now. Now, at 88 and 89, the Jaguars traded down from 70 again. We talked about that. They were able to pick up 2 future thirds by doing that, which is huge. But at 88, they took Caleb Ransaw out of Tulane, the defensive back, shall we say, played some outside corner at Troy, played nickel at Tulane, played some safety at the Senior Bowl. Elite athlete, great tackler, great versatility. To me, this pick got a solid B. And I think that the vision for him with this coaching staff and with this regime is to play safety early on and see if maybe he can answer a question that you have at safety, right? You signed Eric Murray to start. I think he will be in the starting lineup. Can Caleb Ransaw be that other safety that you get out there on the field and feel really good about? Because again, unbelievable speed and athleticism, good size, great tackler. I think that sounds like the type of safety you want. So as long as he can read the game properly and understand the assignments back there, that should be a really good pick. Wyatt Milam out of West Virginia at pick 89. I think is a very strong pick because this is a guy who was unbelievable at West Virginia in pass protection. He's physical. He's got that nastiness to him that you want from an offensive lineman. He played tackle there, didn't allow a sack in 3 straight years, which I've said is kind of a statistical anomaly. I think that when you look at landing this guy at pick 89, and you're not asking him to necessarily come in and start right away, but he has the opportunity to compete to start on the inside at guard. They did announce him at guard instead of tackle. To me, that's a big time pick because at the very least, you got very good depth this year and someone who I do think projects as a future starter. Maybe can compete to start this year, but definitely can compete to start in the future. I think Wyatt Milam is going to upgrade the overall landscape of that offensive line, so it's another B for me. The Jaguars did trade up to 89 from 102, which 102 was part of that trade with the Lions, where they got those 2026 third-round picks, but they only gave up a fifth-round pick to move up to 89 and get Wyatt Milam, which to me was, again, a B value there. So with both of those players, and this is something I know fans have a tough time with. You see Caleb Ransall, you see Wyatt Milam. Maybe there was other guys on your board or in your mind that you thought had more value there. You kind of have to eliminate that mindset and just say, what is these players' value to this team? And to me, they both get B value there. They both have versatility, and they both project to help in areas that the Jaguars needed help. Offensive line depth, future offensive line starters, and Caleb Ransall as a potential starting safety. Round 4, 104, Bashal Tutin out of Virginia Tech. This pick gets an A for me. The only thing you could point to about Bashal Tutin's, kind of evaluation that you wish was a little bit cleaner to me is the fumbles the last couple years. It's crazy because he didn't fumble at all his first 2 years in college, and then he had some fumbling issues the last couple years, but unbelievable burner. 4.32 speed at the running back position. He's got good size at the running back position. I mean, he's not a tall guy, but if y'all pay attention to this channel, I prefer shorter backs. They have a smaller strike zone, right, for tacklers. They're lower to the ground. They have better contact balance. I think Tutin, his ability to make people miss, even in the backfield and definitely in space, and his ability to run away from defenders, I love it. I think it's an A, even though there is that one minor issue. Bashal Tutin, to me, was a day 2 value in this draft. They got him on day 3, so that's an A. Jack Kaiser, round 4 pick 107, linebacker out of Notre Dame. This is another one where, maybe there were linebackers that you had higher on your board. I had a round 3, round 4 grade on Jack Kaiser based on the film evaluation. And then you also look at, and that was just at linebacker, then you also look at team leader at Notre Dame, team that went to the national championship, and a great 4-core special teams player. He can play on all phases of special teams and really help you out in that regard. Jack Kaiser, to me, gets a solid B. I think that he's going to make this football team. They lost Caleb Johnson this year as that kind of special teams ace linebacker. Jack Kaiser comes in, and he's a strong tackler, in my opinion. He reads the game really well, very instinctive, and obviously someone who studies at a high level to be able to be in the right place at the right time. Maybe a little bit of an underrated athlete, got good agility when you watch him. I think he has a chance to end up actually playing a lot of defensive snaps in the NFL for the Jaguars down the road. And you look at good teams draft for the future as well as the present. And Jack Kaiser could potentially compete to be in the starting lineup as early as 2026. Devin Lloyd, if they don't pick up that 5th-year option in the next few days, this is going to be a contract year for him. It is a contract year for Chad Muma. I think Jack Kaiser has a more balanced overall game than Ventrell Miller. So you look at all these things, and Jack Kaiser could be in the starting lineup in 2026 with Foye Oluokun at linebacker. So that's a solid B for me. Round 6 pick 194, Jalen McLeod out of Auburn. This is a player who has off-ball linebacker, edge, both as an outside linebacker, up on the line of scrimmage, in a 2-point stance, also 3 and 4-point stance experience, and a guy who also will compete on special teams. He has an urgency, a violence to his game that is really exciting, and a versatility to his game that also, I think, presents a lot of potential avenues to finding the field and being a contributor, both again on special teams and on the defensive side of the ball. The Jaguars did need edge help. Jalen McLeod can help in that regard. And so that's another solid B for me at pick 194. Rayon Lane. This one is really exciting. And it's another B to B plus for me, Rayon Lane. But just his special teams tape is unbelievable. And if you're going to make a football team in the 6th, 7th round, you got to be able to compete on special teams. Rayon Lane had 9 special teams tackles this past year. He was one of the premier special teams players in this class. And it's a theme back into this draft. And Bashal Tutin, beyond being a running back, I forgot to mention this, he also, as a kick returner, returned 2 touchdowns in 2023. So this is a guy, all these guys can compete on special teams at a high level. When you're talking about Tutin, Kaiser, McLeod, Rayon Lane, Caleb Ransaw can as well. I don't know if they're going to have him out there on special teams as a day 2 pick, but that's something he can definitely help if he needs to. But Rayon Lane, a great special teamer. And then as a safety, I think he is an explosive mover. I think that he has good agility overall, good feel for the game, and he has a nose for the football. He forces fumbles, he picks off passes, he gets his hands on passes. So somebody who I think is definitely going to be a positive influence on this football team. That's another solid B. And Jonah Monheim at 221 was one of those priority day 3 guys for the Jaguars. I think that it was Tutin, Kaiser, and Monheim who were their priority guys in day 3, and they were able to go get Jonah Monheim, who played a lot of left tackle at USC, then played center this past year. To me, the tape at center is encouraging enough to say there's definitely a pathway to him at the very least being a good backup center. And if you're getting a good backup center in the 7th round, that's good value. If you're getting someone who could potentially find the field one day, that's even better. And I think that is not out of the realm of possibilities for Jonah Monheim. So we'll see how that plays out for him. But as somebody who's growing into the center position, even though he's played a long time, played a lot of left tackle, I'm excited to see what he can bring to the Jaguars and maybe upgrade that center 2 position and maybe in the long run end up being able to play at center for you. So that's another solid B. And then LaQuint Allen at 236 was a really good pick. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that he's the best athlete in the world or the best overall runner with the football, but he is good in that regard. He's a great pass protector and he's a great receiver. So a balanced back. And again, somebody who, going back to his freshman year, did play a lot of special teams. So all these guys have that special teams juice, and he's another solid B for me. And so I think the Jaguars, outside of making the massive swing for Travis Hunter, just kind of hit Bs throughout this draft class and kind of, hit it first, second base, singles and doubles. I think that's pretty exciting for a team that needed to just add quality pieces on day 3 of the draft. You need guys that are going to contribute on special teams. That's absolutely what they got. I think they got guys not only that can contribute on special teams, but also have an impact on their respective sides of the ball. So this class gets a solid B plus for me. There was some moments where I do think that maybe there were players that had more value overall than the players that they selected. But again, the Jaguars have a very specific focus on the types of people they are adding. And every single one of these guys is the type of person that they wanted to add to their ecosystem, as James Gladstone likes to say. So they get a solid B plus for me. They got the best player in the draft. They got somebody who can potentially start at safety. They got Wyatt Milam, who can potentially be a versatile player on the offensive line, potentially compete for guard. I think Bashal Tutin and LaQuint Allen are going to make this football team, and they're going to make the running back room a lot better. Jack Kaiser, same thing, going to make the linebacker room a lot better. They needed edge help. Jalen McLeod, I think, will give you that, and he'll give you that versatility. Rayon Lane is going to, he's also going to compete to try to find the field, but he's going to be a great special teamer. And Jonah Monheim, I think, has a chance to be a kind of, at the very least, a swing player on the inside, but potentially a starter down the road. So that's how I view this draft class. I give them a B plus. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. There's going to be a lot more draft coverage, undrafted free agency, takeaways from this draft, all that good stuff coming up very soon. Really appreciate y'all supporting the channel. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.